What's going on? It's Justeeni here. I'm going to show you one of the most incredible games of all time. I know I say that a lot, but this one's pretty cool because it's on Arky. What's so special about that? Well, it's also against Polaris, and not just any Polaris player. This was like an almost 1800 Polaris player. You know that they're a Polaris menace. But can they handle the power of Road? Watch and find out. I don't know. Let's get right into things. So I'm doing kind of my preferred Yedek opening, not opening with roads, using organization, and then potentially fishing. I get the lighthouse, and I can find my villages just fine, but I meet the opponent. Very sketchy, because if they just have a mini, that's really rough for me. Luckily though, everything's fine. They hit my warrior, but I'm ready on defense. I rode this warrior in, so then they're both just close enough. I go for the explorer in case I lose the city. I see their capital. I'm not getting this lighthouse, unfortunately, but I get good vision over the rest of the map. Seriously, explorers are just nuts. They go for the freeze because this 5 HP cannot siege. I bridge here, seeing the shoreline, and it is another village. I'm very happy about that. They're just continuing to freeze my warrior. They heal this, so now it can siege next turn. I go for the connection now. And I can get riding plus 1 rider. I break some ice as well to prevent the mini from walking to some potentially undesirable squares. They go for the siege. I smack their muni, and I can go for the unsiege. I don't know if it was actually a good idea for me to smack the muni, because now they can freeze here. My thought process was, I'm fine with this freeze, because then I have the rider, or sorry, this rider, and I can kill, but let's see what happens. So they go for that. They have more munis. They're advancing the riders. And yeah, things kind of go exactly to plan. I'm not sure if they had anything, actually. Maybe this was just a bad play for them, and I was actually calculating correctly. I get a workshop there to bolster my economy a bit. And I've got pretty good control. They're just pressuring this city like crazy. They're still expanding in the south. Unfortunately, I cannot stop them from doing that. I can step on this village. And I'm threatening to just take it. I break the ice too, so then they have to like make a bridge or get climbing. They siege here. They go around. Wait. Yeah, they have polarism. That is how they stop me from taking a village. Completely unexpected by me. I did not play around that. But yeah, that's actually kind of concerning. It's like riding roads, but the roads are free. They don't have as much movement, but honestly, it's still a lot of movement. It's gonna do the job. But I'm expanding pretty well still. This rider is pretty annoying because it's threatening to take this village, and then we would be equal in cities potentially. But I don't want that to happen. I get a nice siege there, break a bunch of ice, step on the village with a 6 HP, which could I have... I don't know why I didn't just step on it with the 8 HP. Yeah, a little silly moment by me. Well, I guess they hit anyway. Okay, I guess ultimately didn't make too much of a difference. They had another play that they could have done. But I break the ice again. I build a bridge to stop them from getting the ruin. I get a vet, rider, and now I'm going to be able to hold on to all these. Get into pop growth here. Set up for a giant, potentially. And yeah, with all this broken ice, they can't attack this city anymore, and they can't knock me off of either of these villages. So I'm getting both of them. And I set this up in a nice way where I also get the connection here, and I get a park. Why do I get a park? Well, because they can just get minis and gummies. A giant isn't very useful, so I don't go for a giant. I get an explorer. It goes backwards. Unfortunate. I should have gotten a workshop. I think it was a 50-50, and I just said, sure, let's gamble, because funny. Don't gamble, kids. Or adults, or anyone. It's usually a pretty bad idea. But I get an explorer here, and this one. Yeah, both of those explorers kind of sucked. I double monument here. Why do I do that? Well, because I gotta use them somewhere. And I do get a giant. Why do I get a giant here, though? I just said that a giant is bad. Well, this giant has a bit of a different purpose. The idea with this giant is I actually want to play more defensively. It's kind of just meant to block up this area, because this area is already pretty blocked up until they get minis. But they can currently pressure me a bit, so I'm just defending their potential pressure. I think it's more useful than a park at least. Still not great, you know. They have a Gami though. That Gami is very dangerous. So things are far from over despite my city advantage. Park of Fortune dropping down. I am able to unsiege, and I can even take out the Mooney. Make some more units, getting ready to snag this village. More units. They step on the ruin here. Because they have Polarism, they could have sent the Gami further up. They send it here, so it's further away from the riders. They can just, on the next turn, go next to this, rather than getting a little closer like here next turn and then letting my riders hit. So, pretty reasonable decision by them, but this will actually backfire, and you'll see how. It's a very, very nice trick that I do. So while this play from the opponent seems very logical, it is exploitable. I'm knocking them off the road once more. Step in on the village. And I break the ice here. Now, they have this siege to worry about, so they have to unsiege. And unless they kill this warrior, this Gami cannot get next to my village at all. Because it can't get a movement bonus here unless you place 2 roads. It can't go on the water. It would have to go through the ice. So, yeah. Got him. If they had moved their Gami closer, this wouldn't be an issue. They just freeze with the Gami, which is interesting. Again, makes sense though. And they do a nice break ice trick afterwards. Now they want to kill this warrior, and I get Chivalry. Now, I don't go for the knight yet. The idea is to get it next turn. I don't need it right now. They kill the warrior now, which I think that's also a misplay. They could have killed the warrior, then gotten really close to my city. So, a little iffy there by the opponent. I am open for this siege because I couldn't train units because I bought Shiv. They siege for the veteran rider. Pretty annoying. I get the siege there at least. And I can continue to develop my economy. I already have Shiv. I just need to get 1 knight this turn. And I do get a knight on my capital. One nice thing about this matchup is the opponent is less likely to have vision than I am because they're Polaris. Their explorers can't go on water, only on ice and land, so they might not see this knight. And you'll see with how they play this turn. They block, and then they bunch up everything, and then they put this in a chain too. They didn't know I had a knight. They didn't foresee the knight on Archipelago. What the heck? I mean, look at this tech tree. Oh, this is a Pangea game, right? No, Archipelago. What the heck? Most unusual Archipelago tech tree you've probably ever seen in your life, but here we are. And now I am chaining through their entire army, destroying Polaris with Yadek on Archipelago. Do not try this at home. This usually does not work. I don't know. They play Civ Temple for funny haha. They had an ice bank, by the way. Like, they very well could have gotten back into this game if they didn't blunder the chain, because they have actually almost as much economy as me thanks to the bank. So, yeah. This could have been a win for the opponent, but I managed to get things done. Absolute cinema, as they say. Yadek beating Polaris on Archipelago of all maps. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Like and sub, and have a good one.